It's Monday, March 26th. I'm your host, Sarah Beal. On today's show, our intern Mackenzie Connor had a chance to sit down with BHS Athletic Director Scott Thomas. They talk about spring sports. Then we'll be joined by Sharon Boonstra. She's the dual enrollment counselor at Cape Cod Community College. And finally, Alice George talks with us about the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. The Massachusetts Department of Transportation will continue roadway improvements for the Route 28 intersection improvements at Burses Way. The next phase of work will begin Tuesday, March 27th and end Friday, April 6th. Starting Tuesday, the southbound lane of Burses Way will be detoured at the intersection of Route 28 and Burses Way. Traffic will be directed east on Route 28, then directed southwest down Walton Avenue. The end of the detour will occur as traffic migrates back to Burses Way. Traffic to local businesses will be allowed access. This detour will continue through Friday, April 6th. The northbound traffic along Burses Way will be minimally impacted. Traffic during construction operations will be delayed, and motorists are advised to seek alternate routes to avoid the construction work. The work hours will be between the hours of 6:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. As always, please slow down and use extreme caution when traveling through the road construction areas and detour routes, and follow posted safety and detour signs. The Barnstable Youth Commission will be hosting their second annual Youth Job Fair on Tuesday, March 27th from 2:30 to 5 p.m. at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. This is a free opportunity for kids to learn how to interview, about the importance of a resume, complete a job application, and apply for an available position. All are welcome to attend and participate. The Department of Public Works invites interested individuals to attend a public information meeting regarding planned improvements along portions of C Street and Ocean Avenue in Hyannis. The meeting will be held at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 27th in the Town Hall hearing room. The purpose of this meeting is to provide residents an opportunity to review proposed improvements prior to final design and to learn about the projected time frame for construction. Construction is planned to start in the fall of 2018 and is anticipated to continue through 2019. This meeting was rescheduled for March 21st. Up next, BHS Athletic Director Scott Thomas.
Hello, I'm Mackenzie Connor, intern for Channel 18. Today we have Barnstable High School Athletic Director Scott Thomas in to talk about spring sports this season. Thank you so much for joining us.
Always happy to be here.
So what are the spring sports that the school offers?
Okay, well, first of all, off campus we have sailing, and that is for both boys and girls. We have a varsity and a JV program. On campus we have softball, and that's junior varsity and varsity. We have baseball, which they usually have 3 teams, which would be freshman, JV, and varsity. We also have boys and girls lacrosse, varsity and JV, boys and girls track, boys and girls tennis, and volleyball is also the boys volleyball in the spring.
So how did tryouts go last week? I heard you guys had to be inside.
Yeah, it's really challenging having the number of student athletes that we have that go out for sports. You know, we have over close to 400 kids that are out trying for sports, and with the weather being as it has been, has really challenged us. But we've got a system in place where we're able to utilize indoor spaces, first and foremost the field house. Track is usually able to get outside, at least to get some running, maybe in the on the sidewalks or the parking lot, but that's even been limited as of late. Obviously, sailing is a lot tougher than people think. You would think that they wouldn't even think about being out on the boats yet, but they're anxious and getting ready to get out there and enjoy the wind as it is. So at the field house, sometimes we do running in the hallways, which is I think just we'll do anything that we can to get the student athletes to get their repetitions and get themselves prepared to start the season. But by and large, it's been tough. So everyone has like a block of time in the field house where they can use the field house. We have indoor batting cages. So
where are those?
They're suspended from the ceiling in the field house. We are able to lower them down, and we can take live batting practice or use pitching machines in the batting cage. We also have pitching machines and indoor mounds for baseball. So we're prepared. It's not the best thing, but coaches feel like they can still get a good look at the student athletes.
Good. Are there any new head coaches or big changes for this season?
Yeah, well, Coach Mike Merrill, who has been head coach for boys track and cross country for a number of years, had taken on a new position in his professional life, which is sadly prevented him from being able to be here as often as he would need to be to coach. So Tom Brogano has come on board to be the head coach. He's been on board as an assistant for the last 4 years, so he'll be the head coach. And we also bring in Caitlin DeGray, who is a teacher in the district, who has also have some great experience with track and field, in particular throwing events like discus, shot put, and such. We also have Mark Bonavita, who is one of our school counselors in House E. He comes to us with a great baseball background. He's played and coached in the Cape Cod League. He has coached at Westfield State and also coached some high school ball as well. So with Ryan Kinski stepping down for professional reasons with the business that he runs, we were able to get to offer Mark the position, and he's off and running and doing great.
Nice, that's exciting. Before players start their season, what's the concussion protocol?
Okay, the concussion protocol is what we do is we test student athletes with what's called an impact test, and what we usually do that is we usually do that with 8th graders, and then we usually also do it with 10th or 11th graders in subsequent years, and that's what that is a baseline screening test. So should a student athlete get concussed, when they go to the doctor and they're monitoring their progress, they can refer back to the impact test to see, how they're progressing in terms of their cognitive abilities and memory and things like that. So, but once a student athlete has a concussion, of course, they have to go through the protocol. They have to be seen by a physician. The physician has to notify and speak with the head trainer, and then the return to play procedure is different depending upon the athlete, but they need to make sure they take little baby steps going forward, not just with athletics but also with schoolwork, so that their brain is able to recover.
Nice. And how is the master field plan coming into play?
The master field plan is exciting. So right now we're obviously dependent on the total green light from how the budgeting goes in the next few weeks here before the end of the school year and the end of the spring. Everyone is excited about it. I feel like there's support in all of the places that there needs to be, from the town, from town council, from the town manager to, of course, the superintendent, grounds and maintenance. Everybody's on board for it. This is something that we really think is exciting, and we had spoken earlier about it, and we're headed in the right direction.
Good.
Right now, the stadium bleachers have been dismantled, and we are ready to bring in new bleachers for the stadium on the side of the Barnstable side and also across the way.
And also on the other side?
On the other side. And those will be movable, actually. They'll be on wheels, and they actually come to us over the road with the actual, that's like a big trailer, and they just pull it in. So we'll have some nice seating. I think lacrosse and track might be needing to be a little creative with regards to parents maybe bringing lawn chairs or things like that, because we could be a few weeks without any stands at all.
Especially with the weather.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in to talk about spring sports. I'm Mackenzie Connor. That's all for today.
Coming up, Alice George of the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award Committee. But first, Sharon Boonstraw from Cape Cod Community College. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thanks. We're going to talk about dual enrollment at Cape Cod Community College. So let's start with, what exactly is dual enrollment?
So dual enrollment is when high school students take college courses, usually on our campus, and they receive both high school credit and college credit. So they're building their college resume and their college transcript while at the same time fulfilling their high school graduation requirements.
Wow. That's really cool that they can do that. What are some of what makes someone eligible to participate in a program like this?
Yeah, so we usually like to see students with at least about a 2.7 GPA in high school, or if not, with a real strong recommendation from their guidance counselor. Students need to be 16 years old to participate. And other than that, just an interest in being ready for college courses.
Oh, that's great. Is there any, do they have to go to a certain school on the Cape or anything like that?
No. We can accept dual enrollment students from any school. Certainly our partner schools on Cape Cod send us quite a few dual enrollment students, but I've actually had students whose families summer on the Cape.
Okay.
And they may be from, elsewhere in Massachusetts or up in New Hampshire even, who will come and take a summer class as a dual enrollment student, maybe to, just for challenge or to catch up on a course maybe that they need.
That's
something
great.
like that. Yeah, so they come from far and wide.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're just taking any, the classes that are offered. They're not special classes.
No,
geared to dual enrollment.
they're classes that any other college student would take. I often tell my dual enrollment students, you could be sitting next to someone who's the same age as you, another dual enrollment student, or you could be sitting next to someone who's in their 50s, 60s, 70s, or even 80s in the class. So it's a really enriching experience for them and for the other students in the class as well.
That's great. What are some of the advantages in taking part in this program? I mean, it's during their regular school hours, so that has to kind of fit in with their school schedule that they have at their school.
For the most part, that is true. We have several students who just take a class, high school students who take a class maybe after the high school day or in the evening. Okay. And again, they're just maybe looking for that little bit of challenge. Maybe it's a class that their high school doesn't offer. Maybe they want to take German, and we offer German at the college. Or maybe they just want to try out college. Maybe they're not sure if college is the way they want to go after high school. So they're taking one class maybe to try it out or try out 4Cs. Maybe they're thinking of different colleges, and so they want to come see what, what 4Cs is all about. But I also have students who attend as dual enrollment students full-time at the college and do not attend classes at their high school at all.
Wow. Because they've already completed.
Well,
like,
no,
their
they're just completing the requirements at 4Cs.
Oh, okay, I get it. Oh, great. So that's they're taking the classes that they would need for high school, but they're also taking them to get.
But they're taking them at Cape Cod Community College.
Wow.
Right. So it runs the full range from students taking just one class to students taking up to 5 classes in a semester.
Full course load.
Yeah. And there's even a way they can complete their associate's degree while they're still in high school.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, to come out of high school with your college, your high school degree, and then already have, a 2-year degree, that's amazing. I mean, it really gives you a head start on things. I know there's a lot of ambitious students out there that, that would find this, really appealing to them. What is the cost like? So
the students pay the same tuition and fees that any other student would pay. However, most years the college applies for a grant from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's called the Commonwealth Dual Enrollment Program Grant. And we've been fortunate to receive this grant every year. It's a year-by-year thing, so I can never promise each year going forward. But if we do receive it, then we have monies that we can distribute to students to be able to take one class on a one-time basis that the grant will cover. The grant covers half of it, and then we have a private foundation grant that covers the other half. So it pays for the cost of one course at least for them. And so they just need to apply for that grant when they apply, and it's pretty simple.
That's wonderful. Do you find that the high school students, fit in well on the campus?
Oh, absolutely. Most times people don't even know that they're dual enrollment students, including the professors. They can find out if they want to, but they don't usually, and I don't tell the professors either, because I want the students to experience the same experience that other college students do. And so yeah, the dual enrollment students are actually, they're just like any of our other students. They're eligible to participate in all the clubs and organizations, and utilize any of the other services, support services or student life things that we have on campus. So they absolutely do fit right in.
That's wonderful. This sounds like such a great program. If people are interested in finding out more information, what's the best way for them to find that?
So they can contact me at the college, or they can go on our website under the admissions page on our website, and there's a link there for dual enrollment that they can click on. And like I said, with more questions, they're welcome to contact me as well.
Wonderful. Is there anything about the program that we haven't talked about that you want to make sure our viewers are aware of?
No, I think just that, if students are interested, the process, which, is outlined on our website, but they probably want to start by talking to their guidance counselor at their high school. We also, I guess I would want to mention, we also have a lot of homeschool students who come to us for a class or several classes, and they can just start by contacting me through the website.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but that's a great
Yeah, I do
tool
have
for them.
several homeschooled students that enjoy dual enrollment.
Great. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was great being here.
My guest today is Sharon Boonstraw. She is the dual enrollment counselor at Cape Cod Community College. Alice, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
We're going to talk about the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award, which I think is just an amazing award to be given out to, you know, a woman on Cape Cod who has just really given a lot to her community and to our region. Can you tell me a little bit of the history of the award?
Well, I'd be happy to. This will be the 17th year we've given out the award. And the statue in front of the courthouse in Barnstable Village is what prompted the idea that we could have a Woman of the Year in the name of Mercy Otis Warren. And Mercy's statue went up beside her brother, James Otis, because of her tremendous contribution during the time of the Revolution. Her brother James was known as the Patriot, and he gave a speech which is considered to be the speech that really encouraged the start of the Revolution. So he was a very significant character in our history. And Mercy was educated with her brother at the church in West Barnstable. In the day, it was unusual to have a woman tutored to the extent that she was tutored with her brother, but her father recognized that she was a very talented person. And so when her brother went off to Harvard, he shared with her what he was studying. So even though she did not have a college education, she had the benefit of reading and studying whatever her brother was studying at Harvard, which
That's
is
amazing.
really wonderful. And while at Harvard, James Otis met General Warren, that he introduced to his sister, and they ultimately were married. And that's how she became Mercy Otis Warren.
Wonderful.
And through her fine education and her marriage, she became a writer. She did not always write under her own name because it was not considered appropriate in the day to have a woman write under her own name. And she wrote about the issues of the day, why we needed to have this revolution, and she wrote all kinds of, in all kinds of areas, plays, pamphlets, a book of the history of the revolution. So she was a prolific writer. And when her husband was fighting in the revolution with George Washington, she ultimately went to Plymouth, Massachusetts, ran the family farm. So she was a person who was not only a writer, but a businesswoman, and very successful in her life, and a really important resident of this peninsula.
Yeah, definitely. She sounds like an amazing woman, and I think it's, you know, she's a great person to name an award like this after. How did the award get started? You said it was started about 17 years ago. How did that come about?
Well, after erecting the statue, which was done by David Lewis, as the statue of James Otis was, we were just having a follow-up session after having accomplished that. And somebody in the committee just had the idea, well, maybe we could have a Woman of the Year. And that is the way it started. And I was chairman of that committee for about 10 years. A woman named Annalee Carniala was the first chairman. She did it for a year. And then for the next 10 years, I did it. And now it's Judy Scarafile. And it is a county-wide project. From the bridge to P-Town, and we distribute brochures to the post offices and the libraries, and that is where you will find the brochure. May I hold up this brochure?
Yes, of course.
So this is the brochure for this year, and that's where they can be found if you would like to nominate someone for Woman of the Year.
Let's talk about some of the previous
Well,
women that have received this award, because it's a pretty good list.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And if I go back 17 years, it might be a long time. But there was a woman named Marion Voulamir who had on the public access television the longest running book review program in the nation.
Wow.
On public access TV. And she was quite a dynamo. And then the next one was Jean Gardner. And Jean Gardner was very active in promoting Mercy Otis Warren by dressing up like her, going into the public schools and telling her story. And she had done that for years before we had the statue. Mm-hmm. And then there was Eugenia Forts. She was the third person. Eugenia had made such a significant contribution to our community, our African American community. She was a wonderful woman. Mm-hmm. And so we've had some. The last person was Dolores DeLuz, who was well known in the town of Barnstable. But we have had recipients from all over the Cape. Bonnie Snow from Orleans, and Mary Lou Pettit is from Wellfleet, and there have been, many people in between, many distinguished people.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It's a good list, and it's you definitely some amazing women on that list. We have a lot of amazing women here on Cape Cod.
We do indeed, and this is a wonderful vehicle by which to recognize people who have been active in the community.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. So these brochures are out. People can pick them up at the libraries and the post offices, and it gives you all the information you need to know in order to nominate someone. Nominations are being accepted until April 16th.
That's correct, yes.
And it's, there's, all you need to do is you need to do a typewritten page describing what qualifies the candidate and makes her unique in deserving such an honor. And it doesn't need to be 5 pages long.
Oh no, we'd like to have it just be the one page, the one typewritten page. And Mercy was active in the community, obviously, and so we want to have the person nominating describe how their nominee has been active in the arts, in education, in business, in volunteerism on a local level while embracing the ideals of patriotism. So it's a pretty broad criteria, and it is very helpful to just have it be the one page. So we think that that's not too onerous for somebody to think that they could type up one page about a person, and it's online if people like, or they can mail it in. All the information is contained in this brochure, so you can do it online, or you can write it out and mail it in. And so we encourage people to think about someone that they feel has been active in those 3 areas, and think about just putting it down on paper.
Wonderful. If you're looking for this information online, it can be found on the Barnstable County website.
Yes.
And like we said, the flyer will be available in post offices and libraries from the Bourne Bridge all the way to P-Town. Exactly. And all women are, eligible to be nominated. It's, anyone from the Cape. It doesn't have to be from Barnstable. I know there's been
that's correct.
There's been a few winners from Barnstable, but that does not limit the award. It's Mercy Otis Warren, Cape Cod Woman of the Year.
That's right. That's
wonderful.
right.
Alice, thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thank you very much for having
me.
We appreciate having this exposure for this wonderful award.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My guest today is Alice George. She's on the committee for the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year. Now let's get our BHS update from intern Mackenzie Connor.
Hello, I'm Mackenzie Connor, intern for Channel 18. There was a lot going on at Barnstable High School this week. For seniors, Scholarship Bulletin number 12 and 13 is available in school counseling and house offices. If you're still looking for a prom dress, come to the Junior Senior CAF on March 29th from 2 to 4:30. There will be over 300 gently used prom and cocktail dresses for students to take for free. On Tuesday, March 27th, Sergeant Robert Emerson of the U.S. Air Force will be in the Junior Senior CAF for all 4 lunches to answer any questions for students interested and provide information. The annual senior trip has been approved. Those who signed up will be attending the Red Sox versus the Kansas City Royals game on Wednesday, May 2nd. And good luck to all students participating in spring sports. Thanks for watching. That's all for today. I'm Mackenzie Connor.
Let's take a look at our community calendar. March 29th has been designated as Vietnam Veterans Day. This day commemorates the sacrifices of Vietnam veterans and their families and is part of a national effort to recognize the men and women who were denied a proper welcome home upon returning home more than 40 years ago. The Barnstable Senior Center is hosting an event on Thursday, March 29th at 1:30 p.m. and they welcome all Vietnam veterans from Cape Cod and the islands to come with family, friends, and veterans of all eras. This is a deserved day of remembrance and recognition. For more information, please contact the Senior Center at 508-862-4750. You'll want to save the date for this event. The Barnstable Civic Association is holding their annual Spaghetti Supper on Saturday, April 7th. The Spaghetti Supper will be held at the West Barnstable Fire Department from 5 to 7:30 and will include a meatball sub option. There will also be a 50-50 raffle, which will help raise money for the West Barnstable Village Festival. Come out with your family and friends and support this wonderful event. Takeout will also be available for those that can't stay. Now let's take a look at this week's board, committee, and commission schedule. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new episode of Barnstable Today. On Tuesday's show, we'll talk with DPW Director Dan Santos, Planning and Development Director Elizabeth Jenkins, and Assistant Airport Manager Katie Service. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Beal.